Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. A very special day for me anytime I have the opportunity to sit with two of my favorite people. Thrilled to have Emily Painter and Pierre Boivin of the law firm Kugler Kandestin joining me. They're the representatives of for the victims of Frank Lamarre in the class action filed against Frank Lamarre and the city of Longueuil. And I just want to say that today will be the only day I use that name. I've referred to him as the professional pedophile, but for today, to eliminate any confusion, I will use the name. We've spent hundreds of hours together, guys. Today's a little bit different form. Thank you, Pierre, Emily, for agreeing to take the time this morning. I think it's very important for people to have the opportunity to see and hear the two I've been trying to get them to reach out to through social media. For those who don't know, I'm John Cormier, and I've been the face of the class action against Frank Lamarre in the city of Longueuil and the sexual abuse suffered by innocent children like myself, the hands of this Greenfield Park hockey coach. After many years of tirelessly advancing this case, in the fall of 2024, I believe it was August, there was a settlement reached with the city of Longueuil. And in December of 2024, it was approved by the courts. So today is not about me, and it's about reaching victims, healing, and some vindication, hopefully. So what does that mean for the victims of Frank Lamarre? It means that it's time to put pen to paper and get the claim forms filled out and reach out to Pierre and to Emily and hopefully be compensated for what you suffered through over the years as a child. And in other words, the path has been cleared. This is a very safe environment for anyone. And it's been created for victims to come forward with ease. And I'm hopeful that this video is in some way helpful and will reach the people that need it the most. So guys, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we go back to the beginning and let's maybe you can remind people of the class action, what it was about, and who would be included in that class, the members of the class.
Yeah, so thanks, John. I'm Pierre Boivin. But first of all, before discussing all that, I wish to first thank you, John, for your tremendous and extraordinary determination that you showed, which rendered this class action possible and a victory for François Lamarre's victims. Without you, there would have been no class action and no justice for these victims. And John, I said it in the past, and I'm saying it again, you're a true hero. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pierre.
So this settlement allows class members to be indemnified for the sexual abuse that were suffered under the hands of François Lamarre. Most of you know him as Franks and other names. During the period of time, he was a coach for the minor hockey league of Greenfield Park. And as long as the sexual abuse took place prior to December 31st, 2001, and as long as a link as defined in the settlement agreement exists between the sexual abuse and the fact that François Lamarre was a hockey coach in the minor hockey league of Greenfield Park at the time of these abuse. It is not, when we're talking about the link, it's not only the victim that played for Frank Lamarre when he was a coach at Greenfield Park. It's not only the kids that were playing in the hockey league. It could be a lot of other victims of Frank Lamarre. And you should not be afraid to make a claim because you are not sure whether or not you are a class member. This link will be decided by a judge, a former Superior Court judge. We call her the adjudicator. during a confidential meeting between the victim and her, which we wanted to be as safe an environment as possible for the victims that come forward. So the victims that qualify will share millions of dollars among themselves. That's what we negotiated. Based on the gravity of the damage sustained, obviously, we have three categories of damages, plus a succession of these victims. This evaluation will also take place, sorry about my English, will also take place, that's why I'm reading my note to be sure, sorry for you guys, it will also take place during the same confidential meeting. And based on the structure of the settlement agreement, each victim should get a substantial amount of money that should range in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's the framework of the settlement, and we'll, following the question that John would ask us, go into more details.
Can I just clarify one point, Pierre, before we move along? You mentioned about court. The victims that come forward will not have to be in a courtroom environment. Is that correct?
That's correct. That is, when I say we give more details, when we go along, there's a lot of more details about the way the process would act. But obviously, it's going to be a confidential meeting between the educator and the victim.
And that's usually done virtually, I think, right?
The choice of the victim is going to be either virtually or in person.
Okay, perfect. Emily, nothing?
We can...
No, we'll move along.
I think we're question number 2.
Okay, well, for decades, guys, we witnessed this gentleman grooming dozens of kids daily. So I know there's a lot of victims out there. So can you just maybe summarize the type of sexual abuse that we're talking about? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean the extreme, but I think people are kind of confused in the context of the description of what is involved in the class.
Sure, John. I'm happy to speak on that, and it's a great question. So you're right. We're really talking about a very vast range of sexual assaults. I think it's helpful to remind people that the Quebec government defines sexual assault as all forms of sexual touching of genitalia, buttocks, thighs, whether it's over, under clothes, groping. Of course, there's masturbation, penetration, and voyeurism and such. But we've heard from countless victims that Frank would often play fight with children and use this as an opportunity to grab their genitalia. And we absolutely consider this to be sexual assault. It's clear to us that Frank perpetrated these acts for his own personal sexual gratification. And so the people that have had that experience should absolutely complete the claim form and speak to us if they have any questions. Ultimately, of course, it's the adjudicator that is named by the court that will decide whether any specific case constitutes sexual assault, and she will assess this both by reading the text of the claim form, but most importantly by meeting with these victims in a completely confidential and very safe environment. Lastly on this point, I think it's important to remind everyone that it's been long recognized that sexual assaults, especially assaults against children and minors, automatically cause harms to victims. So even a victim that does not think that what he or she suffered was quote unquote that bad, or whether they don't even know if they've suffered harms at all, automatically the Supreme Court of Canada has said that sexual assault constitutes and perpetrates harm. So those people as well should absolutely submit a claim form, and we'll be happy to walk them through every step of the process.
That's great. So anyone that has been sexually abused by Frank Lamarre up to, I believe there's a clause built in December 2001?
Yes, so, December 31st, 2001.
So what should the victims do? What should they do first?
Well, they should
contact you first. I would, but should they email you? Should they write you? Does it matter? Call you anonymously?
It doesn't matter. I don't know, Ken, if you want to speak to this, but it doesn't matter. The important is that they are reminded that the deadline to submit this claim form is June 17, 2025. So whether they want to review the claim form on their own or whether they want to call us, and we really encourage everyone to call us because it's helpful to have someone walk you through the claim form. So we want victims, because the delay is coming up soon, to take the phone and call us now if they can. Again, we'll walk you through every step of the process.
Yeah, and if you want me to add,
sure,
it doesn't matter. They can send us an email. We can fix a proper time to speak. If they simply want to exchange by email, we respect whatever the victim how the victim want to do it. We will take the time it need to explain everything, and so I think that after this video there will be information about her emails and phone number, and that's how they can do it.
Yeah.
And they can also go on our internet site, which will show later on. The claim form is there also, and so they can go through that, and all our information are there too.
Right, and if anyone can find my page dedicated to the case, I often post the links directly to the claim forms and to your site, your emails and your phone numbers. So
thank you.
Easy to
That's
find.
Right.
I still get a sense that there are many that feel that they're going to be cross-examined and traumatized all over again. I'm trying to get people to understand that you're on their side and what the initial call would look like. Can you just explain what they can expect when they first reach out?
Yeah, well, you're right, John, that it's traumatizing to have to go through it again. We understand that. We had many experience in past cases, past class action dealing with sexual abuse victims, where the victim call us. So often we're the first one that they reach. They haven't told anyone else, and they start to cry. We understand that, and that's why I'm saying even if the call has to be 2 hours, we'll take the time.
Right. And
if it has to be done in more than one time, we will respect that. We go with the speed of the victims. And since we understand how painful it can be, when we do a settlement, we make sure that we are in charge of the claim form and the claim process. So there will be no settlement with us except if we can be sure that the claim process is totally confidential, which is the most important thing. And we are bound by secrecy. So someone calls us, we cannot mention their name to anyone, even to you, John, as you know. So they can contact us with all the confidence they can have on, we are your attorney. We are the attorney for the class, for the members. We are here, obviously, to listen to you and to guide you. We are here for you, we believe you, and we want justice for you. That's what we want. So we removed also all the barrier, as much barrier as possible, in order to obtain justice that you deserve. This is why we also insist, and this is a sine qua non condition, that the defendant representative, namely the attorneys, the defendant representative here, for example, the city of Longueuil, employees, and so on, have absolutely no say in the claim process. They pay and that's it. They will not be there when you're going to be meet with the educator. It's only you and her. The defendant, City of Longueuil, will never know who made a claim, which is important. And they will never know who were indemnified. Not even Mr. Cormier will know.
I don't need to know. I'm good.
So the claimant will meet with the educator confidentially in person, as I mentioned, virtually or in person. There will be no cross-examination. The educator will be there to listen to you with compassion. So the victim can speak freely to her. Even if, for example, they are aware town employees, it will not be held against them. They cannot be fired. Their pension cannot be touched, etc., etc., etc. The victim may be assisted by someone to support because we know it's difficult. Not be us because we don't want a contradictory process. So it's going to be only the educator and the victim and the person of her choice to help her psychologically. So it is a fast process, as easy as possible. And from past experience, I may tell you that the vast majority of the victims that passed in front of that educator told us that such meetings were part of their healing process. And it really helped them in this regard, which is very important.
Yeah.
So that's what I can say about that, John.
That's good. I'm very aware of the emotions that people who are on the fence. I mean, I was prepared when the arrest was made in 2019. I'd been fighting for it for a long time, so I certainly understand that people were caught by surprise decades after, in most instances, after being abused by Lamarre. So I get it. It snuck up on people, and it's taken some time. I've never considered myself to be in a vulnerable position, but in retrospect, I think I was when I certainly came to you guys. And I know when I did approach you, I had trust issues for sure, so I came in a little hot. We had some conversations for sure that oftentimes I regretted. I apologize, but I thank you guys for being on my side throughout the process and being patient and understanding.
I can say, oh, sorry.
No. I just want to know, like, what you recommend any victim of Greenfield Park, this pedophile Lamarre, who has learned of the case and reluctant still to connect with you guys.
I can tell you that no victim will be judged and no apology is ever needed. Never.
Well, yeah, okay. It was before Emily's time. But it was early on. It was early on. You gained my trust.
But John, to answer your question about any victim that may be having difficult, conflicting emotions, we've heard from a lot of people that don't necessarily see themselves fit that conception, sometimes a misconception that we have about what a sexual assault victim has gone through. A lot of people don't initially perceive themselves as victims, and so some have tried to do their best to leave the past in the past with more or less success, and others have tried to downplay their experience, maybe as a coping mechanism as well. Right. What I would like to tell all of those people is that they're entitled to compensation for everything that they've gone through at the hands of Frank Lamarre. But the only way to get that compensation is if they send us a claim form before June 17th. And that's a strict delay. We'll discuss it a little bit later, but June 17th, the claim form must be submitted before that date. And so for anyone that has never spoken to anyone about their experience or their assault, for anyone that maybe has idolized Frank their entire lives, maybe they were shocked when they heard of the arrest, as you've mentioned, some have been. for some that have questioned what they've gone through, whether it could constitute sexual assault, for anyone that downplayed their experience or thought maybe others had it worse, for anyone that tried to convince themselves that things were a little bit different back then, as if that in any shape or form justifies a man abusing children. All of those people, if you've resonated with anything that we've discussed so far, I urge you to pick up the phone and to call us. We'll listen to you. We'll believe you. As we've mentioned, we'll answer any questions that you may have. We'll assist you if you need assistance in filling out the claim form. But in all of the years that we've been doing this job, we often hear from victims that are reluctant to come forward because they carry shame, they carry guilt for having been assaulted. It's a completely unfounded feeling, even though it's very, very common across victims of sexual assault. And again, to our earlier point about conflicting feelings, we know and we're very sensitive to the fact that some may have conflicting feelings about coming forward against Frank. Again, a person that was once beloved in Greenfield Park. But none of that excuses the acts that he perpetrated against innocent kids. The reality is that no victim can ever be blamed for their sexual assault. And Frank Lamarre, in this case, was a professional pedophile. The only responsibility falls with the perpetrator himself and with the adults that are responsible for having created the risk of abuse. And again, we urge anyone to call us, to speak to us. Do it now rather than later, even though it may be easier to put this off. June 18th will be too late.
Right. Well said.
And I agree with you. Emily, victim, you deserve to be compensated. The real success of this class action will depend on you. We hope that every victim of Frank Lamarre will come forward and be compensated. That's our goal. That's the goal of John. That's the goal of the court. That's the goal of everyone. And by doing so, you do not take money away from other victims. That's important because people think that, victim thinks that I did not really suffer a lot of damage and I don't want to take money out of victims that suffer more and things like that. That's not the way the settlement is structured. You will not take money away of any other victim. You will simply get compensated for the damage that you sustained.
And it actually strengthens the claim as well, with the victims coming forward. So that's a very, very important point that I keep hearing over and over. Another one that I keep hearing, Pierre and Emily, is perhaps they've looked up online and seen the claim form, but their story doesn't necessarily fit the questions. I don't know if it's a generic form, but will you, I guess in your phone calls, you would help them not mold their story, but certainly explain to them how their story will fit into the forms.
Well, we can tell them the law and what the settlement provides, and it is the educator that will decide about the link that, as I was mentioning, and the link, as I mentioned, it's not only players and the league and so on and so on. I mean, Frank Lamarre did so many things. When he was a coach at Greenfield Park, he was considered a god and things like that, and so on and so on. He was also a policeman, so he was a figure of authority, and that came from something. It came from the fact that he was for more than 30 years or more hockey coach in the league and so on. So it's going to be the educator to decide that, and you have nothing to lose. So don't penalize yourself in thinking that you're not part of the class action. The claim form is only there to provide a summary of what happened. There's a meeting, which is what is the most important, and it's during that meeting that more information can be given and things like that, and so the educator can decide after having heard all of the others victim that yes, your story fit with or is linked with the fact that Frank Lamarre was a hockey coach. And the quote that the Supreme Court of Canada, the quote that Emily was talking about, read as follows. And the Supreme Court is the highest court in Canada. And she said, sexual assault has always been a fault that automatically causes serious injury. So you should come forward and we can help you.
Yeah.
And I hope you do.
Nice. Okay, guys, we've talked a lot about the victims coming forward speaking with you. Is there anything you can say to family members or friends who believe that someone they know have fallen victim to this pedophile? I know it's a delicate, tough conversation, but is there any recommendations you can offer to help them with that? I don't know if they should reach out to you and say, I have a son I think may have been affected, or should they reach out to the person directly as a starting point?
These are very hard conversations to have with a friend, family member. If you find yourself in a situation where you think maybe someone has been carrying this trauma for many, many decades, I would recommend that you point them towards our resources. It may be too difficult to have that initial call with a victim if you're a family member, but we're a third party that are meeting this person for the first time, and we've heard from hundreds and hundreds of victims. We're well equipped to take that first call, as Pierre described. We'll take the time necessary to hear victims, whether it's the first time or the 30th time that they tell someone about this. But I can't stress this enough. If you have someone in your environment that you think has been a victim, or if you're recognizing yourself in this conversation, it's really important that you act now. June 17th is coming up in just a little over a month, and it's really important, actually, it's necessary for you to fill out a claim form in order to have a chance of being compensated. So you lose nothing by completing it, but you will miss out on being compensated for what you've gone through if you don't. So again, if you have someone in your life that you think should hear this, maybe share this video with them, share the resources that John has made available, share us our website, share with them our website rather. I'll show you maybe now how to access the claim form on our website. So the first thing you'll do is you'll go to www.kklex.com, and I'll share with everyone now. Hopefully I can share the screen. Okay, let me try something else. Okay, well, everyone at home will be able to see my screen. So the first thing you'll want to do is, as I mentioned, go to kklex.com in French or in English. You'll then go to the Class Actions tab, and you'll select Ongoing Cases. At the top here, you'll see Sexual Abuse and Harassment, and you'll find the link for Francois Lamarre, Frank Lamarre, hockey coach.
I'll post all of that as well, and we'll pass
Perfect.
that along with the video.
Perfect, thanks, John. So to find this claim form, in French or in English, you'll scroll down here to the information in bold and in red. So again, here you'll see, in order to be indemnified under the settlement, members must complete this claim form. So you'll click on the word claim form, and you'll be brought to the claim form in English. Same thing if you want to see the claim form in French. And again, that's all it is. It's a few short questions that are intended to be a summary of your situation. You'll have the opportunity to flesh all of those things out during your meeting with the adjudicator. And if anyone has any questions, all of our information, our email addresses, our phone numbers are all on our website as well, just at the bottom of that screen.
Just to be very, very clear on that point, Emily, it's not all right to contact on June 16th to let you know a claim form is coming maybe next week. The 17th is it. It's over.
The 17th is it.
Has to be
unfortunately, it's a very, very strict delay.
I just want to emphasize that point.
And claim forms that are sent June 18th, unfortunately, under the terms of the settlement, just will not be accepted. Right. So I stress, you can contact us now, you can contact us in 2 weeks from now, but you do need to send that form in by June 17th.
Okay, well, the final point I have, guys, and I think we've touched on it several times, but after the documents are finalized, submitted, what can be expected next? And I think you've gone over with the adjudicator and discussing things with you in advance.
Yeah, we can say that someone of her office would call or send an email to the victim to fix an appointment that is okay with. We'll give you a few dates and whatever is most convenient for the victim. And then the meeting would take place, whether in person or through Teams or Zoom. After that, after the deadline of June 17, the adjudicator will finish her work. She should do it very fast. Means putting the victim in category and making a decision. Following that, we will provide the decision and with the indemnization to the victims. And we are hopeful that we'll be able to do that this summer or early fall of this year. So we're at the almost at the end of the process that started more than 4 years ago. After a settlement that was reached at the eve of the trial, the money is there. It's for you. We hope that you will come. Obviously, this is a summary of the settlement and things like that, settlement agreement. So thank you for your time, and we hope to hear from you.
Thank you both for your time. Emily, any closing thoughts?
Except to say June 17th, send us a claim form, and you can find all of our information on our website. If you have any questions, the email address is info@kklex.com. You'll also find our direct lines. Members and victims and family members should be comfortable reaching out to us via whatever means they want. And again, it's a fully confidential process, obviously free, and we're there to help.
Right on. Guys.
And as I say to the victim, and I said it to you, John, it's a privilege to be able to represent you, and we'll be pleased to speak to you.
Thank you, Pierre. It was my great luck to have found you to begin with. I'm very grateful for all the work you've done. It was at the start an uphill battle. It was actually not something I ever thought I would get into. Arrest was my main goal, and after that, I didn't know what to do. So I thank you for the direction and all of your help and amazing work over time. And if anyone is listening to this video, I promise you, these are the two most understanding and empathetic people I've met. Make the call. It'll change things for you. It's time for some healing. It's time for some vindication for what you experienced as a child. No one should have had that happen to them.
Right.
Perfectly said,
All right,
John.
guys. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe we can do it again. We still have a month to go.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bye for now.